Have you ever felt completely lost trying to understand async and await in C#? You're not alone. Many developers struggle with this concept, and today we're going to break it down together. I totally get it. Async and await can feel like a maze, especially when you're trying to grasp how they work. It's frustrating to watch videos and read documentation without it clicking. You're definitely not the only one facing this challenge. Let's dive into the specific questions you have. One user asked why async is said to enable asynchronous methods when the async keyword alone does nothing, and how the await keyword seems to create a suspension point. This is a great question, and it sets the stage for our discussion. To understand this, we need to clarify what async and await really do. The async keyword marks a method as asynchronous, allowing it to run without blocking the main thread. However, the await keyword does indeed create a suspension point, allowing other tasks to run while waiting for the awaited task to complete. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of async and await, and I promise you'll feel more confident in your coding skills. To clarify the concept of asynchronous methods, let's start with the async keyword. The user should understand that marking a method as async does not make it asynchronous by itself. Instead, it allows the use of the await keyword within that method. Next, the user should focus on the await keyword. When the await keyword is used, it creates a suspension point in the method. This means that the method will pause execution until the awaited task is complete, but it does not block the entire thread. Now, regarding the use of async void methods, the user should remember that these are generally only used for event handlers. To call an async method normally, the calling method must also be marked as async and use the await keyword. In the provided code example, the user can see that the method saveScreenshot is marked as async and returns a task. This allows it to be awaited. The user should note that while the method appears to pause at the task run call, it is still running asynchronously. Finally, the user should understand that when an async method is called with await, it allows other tasks to run while waiting for the awaited task to complete. This is the essence of asynchronous programming in C#. Now, regarding your code snippet, it may look synchronous because of the thread sleep call inside task run. However, the method itself is still asynchronous because it allows other tasks to run while waiting for the screenshot to save. Fun fact, did you know that the concept of asynchronous programming dates back to the early days of computing? It's fascinating how far we've come in making our applications more efficient. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. The user clarifies that asynchronous methods in the net allow execution to pause without blocking the calling thread. The async keyword enables the use of await, which suspends only the current method, not the entire thread. This is crucial for maintaining responsiveness in applications, especially in UI threads. They also mention that it's best for async calls to propagate to the top of the call stack, like in event handlers, to avoid deadlocks. However, you can wait for a task to complete using wait or access the result directly, but these methods block the calling thread and can lead to deadlocks. Finally, they explain that while the method may seem synchronous due to the await, it doesn't block the calling thread, which is the key feature of async and await. That's all for that response. Let's see what someone else had to say. This user offers an alternative perspective on async and await. They explain that async methods are asynchronous because you don't have to wait for them to return immediately. Instead, you can call the async method and store the task in a variable, allowing you to continue with other operations. Later, when you need the result, you can await the task. Here's a tip. Always remember that async methods are about non-blocking operations. Embrace the async mindset, and you'll find it easier to work with these concepts. And there you have it. Understanding async and await can be tricky, but with practice, you'll master it. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more coding tips and tricks. Keep coding and don't hesitate to reach out with more questions.